Most of our major plants are near the seashore, therefore open to attack from the sea. India-Pakistan conflicts that we had, of course, we did not try and destroy economic targets, as we call them, either from the air or by ground commando attack or by other means. But the Western world has targeted public and private civilian entities during any war to make sure that they destroy the ability of that nation to fight the war in the first place. What is going to happen in the future is anybody's guess. But we as a nation, if we wish to join the big league, as one might call it, we can't sit back and say all is well with our country and nothing is going to happen. Why? It will happen, and why should it happen? Therefore, we have to be prepared. The systems of security of the government are not good enough. Something has to be done about this. And had we not seen all that, it wouldn't have been clear to even private sector individuals as to what a weak position we are in.
If you look at the national security strategy of many countries today and ask them, what really is your national security strategy? And they will say it is energy. This has become a fairly critical issue. We had to craft our own national security strategy as far as energy is concerned. And as General Sharma said, in this area also there is not as much coordination as there should be. If you look at the national security strategy of the two biggest countries in the world, that's the United States and China, you find two very disparate strategies. The United States believes that the distribution of energy and its pricing will be looked after by market forces. And the market forces in the international arena are too powerful to be interfered with. So if energy is short, energy prices will rise, more exploration will take place, and they don't fear that there will be a scramble for the equitable distribution of hydrocarbons. The entire geopolitical strategy of countries is now centered on, as far as China is concerned, on securing its energy assets for itself. It is not relying on international market forces.
Our location is so significant from the maritime point of view that an entire ocean, as we know, has been named after us. On an average, about 300 ships traverse the Indian Ocean every day, of which around 40 to 50% are supertankers. Around 15 of these traverse the narrow Straits of Hormuz, carrying an estimated 16 million barrels of oil a day, which is roughly 40% of the seaborne trade in oil. By way of geography, India is strategically positioned to contribute greatly towards the safe movement of cargo and security of the shipping along the sea lanes of communications, or SLOCs as we call them in naval parlance. It is imperative that that India has wherewithal to achieve the safety and security of these lanes. Over and above this, we have also got our national interest to consider, as our offshore assets on both the coastlines, as well as the 2 million square kilometers of our EEZ needs to be protected.
The paradox is that many of these countries, which are major oil producers, are also major sources of international instability. Either their own political structure is unstable, like the Saudi Arabians. There can be a political argument that if you bring the oil down to $20, US doesn't need to fight any wars abroad because Iranian government can't be sustained at that. One of the important aspects in energy security is, of course, pipeline security, which is assuming, shall I say, higher importance than it has received so far. The threats to pipelines in general can arise from two different sources. One is, of course, accidents due to poor maintenance, operations, or sometimes poor design. And the second is sabotage. In order to handle both, you have to be prepared. You need contingency plans, drills, simulations. This is important. Unless you have these drills and simulations, security has to be inbuilt, as I said earlier in the opening remarks, has to be inbuilt in the design of reactors. Backfitting doesn't work. We also have to periodically update our preparedness based upon intelligence assessments and reports. And I hope, here it's out with on a wing and a prayer and a song, I hope our intelligence agencies would be geared up sufficiently to provide such inputs to India's oil and gas majors.